Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasa Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we will do our session till 240, 245, and then we will read no few pastimes of Srila Prabhupada today because it is his disappearance day, and we had in the morning session also nice sharing of various pastimes. So we will do that then, right? So we will start with the session, and even the question we will do it just before the pastime. Text 9 of the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So one of my favorite slokas, this is Yajnarthat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tadartam karma kaunteya mukta sangaha samachara. Okay. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed, otherwise work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, and in that way you will always remain free from bondage. So this is very nice, this one. Even the Sanskrit also very nice to meditate upon. Yajna arthat. So yajna means it's another name of Vishnu. So yajna arthat. So for the pleasure or for the sake of the Vishnu, karmano. So the activities have to be performed for the sake of Vishnu. Karmano anyatra. So if we are not doing the activities for the pleasure of Vishnu, so what will happen is lokoyam karma bandhanaha. So the we will get into karma bandhana. We will get into the bondage of karma, and then tadartam. So karma kaunteya. So if we do the activities for tadartam, for that person, for that yajna, or for Vishnu, no tadartam karma kaunteya, mukta sangha samachara. So one will get liberation. So by performing activities for the pleasure of Supreme Lord, no, we will get mukta sangha, or we will become liberated. And without, if we are doing any work which is not for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, so then it becomes karma bandhana. Now it is very, very logical and very clear sloka, which says that devotional service to the Supreme Lord is a very essential aspect in our life, and this was the culture. So in the past, culture means people had God-centered culture. So nobody wanted to have any karma bandhana, and the whole society was organized in such a way that people can progress towards liberation. So the modern society, the culture is there, but then it doesn't have any God in the center. And somewhat the God is there because old people and some Orthodox people, and so they would like to have some worship. And modernism means like there are so many people, they ask also like, do you believe in God? Like, no, why should you even believe in God? So like that. So you're in 21st century and things like that and all. So it's that's the problem. So let's see the purport. Since one has to work even for the simple maintenance of the body, the prescribed duties for a particular social position and quality are so made that the purpose can be that purpose can be fulfilled. So here we see that prescribed duties means who has prescribed it? The Supreme Lord has prescribed in the Vedic scriptures. So what we have to perform, so it is prescribed by the Supreme Lord in the Vedic scriptures. So, okay, Yajna means Lord Vishnu or sacrificial performances. All sacrificial performances are meant for satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. So this is confirmed in the fifth chapter of Bhagavad Gita 529. So this is 529, and this current sloka, what we are studying now 3.9. So these are all very, very important slokas. We had often discussed about um, the seventh chapter, fourth and fifth shloka, which talks about this earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego, and then the living entity. So that 7.4 and 5 is very important. And this one, 3.9, is also very important. And then 529, 529 is the peace formula. So peace formula, it says, Bhoktaram ekta tapasham sarvaloka maheshwaram suhrudam sarvabhutanam nyatva mam shanti mrichati. So the Lord says, Bhoktaram yajna tapasam. So all sacrificial performances are meant for satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. So Krishna directly mentions that, all sacrificial performances. I am the enjoyer of all the sacrifices. Krishna very clearly declares in the fifth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Okay. The Vedas enjoin Yajno vai Vishnuhu. So this is like the Vishnu and Yajna are synonymous. So we cannot say I am doing Yajna for Ganesha, I am doing Yajna for so and so demigod. No, it is not possible. Yajna means Vishnu. So without involving Vishnu, we cannot do any Yajna. So now when people say that Ganesha Homa and things like that, even in that, first they have to invoke Vishnu, they have to offer the sacrifice to Vishnu, and they have to offer the Mahaprasad to Ganesha, and Ganesha will work for that particular request. So even in demigod worship, without Vishnu worship, no worship can happen. And even if we want to get favor of demigod, we have to worship through Vishnu only, and that's the proper methodology. And if somebody is doing without Vishnu, then he is demoniac. No, that is completely demoniac worship. It is not at all no Vedic form of worship, right? So okay, so let's see. Yajna vai Vishnu. In other words, the same purpose is served whether one performs prescribed yajnas or directly serves Lord Vishnu. Krishna consciousness is therefore performance of yajna as it is prescribed in this verse. So we tell that Nama Yajna, and whole life of a devotee is Yajna. So he is chanting, that is an Yajna that is performed, because Yajna is an activity that is meant to please the Supreme Lord Vishnu. So by chanting, the Lord becomes pleased, so that becomes an Yajna. And by offering Arati, the Lord becomes pleased, that becomes an Yajna. By cooking foodstuffs and offering to the Lord, so that also becomes an Yajna. And honoring prasadam. So if I taste prasadam, even that becomes an yajna. No, that is a thing that is pleasing to the Supreme Lord. No, if we take his Mahaprasad, so even that becomes an yajna. So a life of a devotee is full of sacrifice or full of yajna. So there is nothing else apart from yajna, because according to this description here, yajnartat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. If we do anything else apart from yajna, we will become caught in karma bandhana. And we don't want to, right? So if we don't want to be in karma bandhana, then all our activities must be yajna, right? Okay. The Varanashrama institution also aims at satisfying Vishnu. Varanashamacharavata pumsena parapuman Vishnu aradhyathe pantha nanyat tattosha karanam. So this is from Vishnu Puran. So it says that Varanashramacharavata purushena parapuman. So like Varanashrama acharava. So like why somebody has to do the like follow the rules and regulations of Varnashrama. So this Vishnu Aradhyate Pantha, no? Vishnu Aradhyate Pantha, na anyat tat tosha karanam. So na anyat, there is no other purpose other than tat tosha. Tosha means like tushti, no, that is happiness or satisfaction. Na anyat tat tosha. Tat, who is that tat? Tat means that person. Who's that person? Vishnu aradhyate panta na anyat tat tosha karanam. So like there is no other purpose for the Varnashram except for pleasing the Supreme Lord Vishnu. So that's the whole idea here. So even the Varnashrama system, even the prescribed duties and things like that, why it has been, or what is the root of it? It is Vishnu Aradhyate Pantha. And we had also, in the last few classes, we had been discussing one particular sloka, which tells about Smartavyam Satatam Vishnu, Vismartavyam Najatuchit, Sarve Vidhi Nishedashu Retayore Vakinkara. So this is also another, this one. So all the activities that are prescribed, our day-to-day activities, our no ordinary mundane activities, also in the way how it has to be performed, it has been explained in the scriptures. And what is the basis for that particular way of performing, so that we can remember Vishnu or Krishna. So that is the whole purpose, right? Okay, therefore, one has to work for satisfaction of Vishnu. Any other work done in this material world will be a cause of bondage, for both good and evil work have their reactions, and any reaction binds the performer. Therefore, one has to work in Krishna consciousness to satisfy Krishna or Vishnu. And while performing such activities, one is in a liberated stage. This is the great art of doing work. And in the beginning, this process requires very expert guidance. So why it requires expert guidance? Why cannot I just simply please the Supreme Lord? So what is the thing that I have to do? I have to just please the God. So I will do. So what is the problem in that? Why I need guidance? Because we don't know how to please God, right? So we don't know what he likes, what he doesn't like. So we need to have the help of the scriptures, and we need to have help of a devotee who can explain the scriptures to us. Otherwise, it is not going to happen, right? So one should, here we'll continue to read, one should therefore act very diligently under the expert guidance of a devotee of Lord Krishna, or under the instruction of Lord Krishna himself, under whom Arjuna had the opportunity to work. Nothing should be performed for sense gratification, but everything should be done for the satisfaction of Krishna. This practice will not only save one from the reaction of work, but also gradually elevate one to the transcendental loving service of the Lord, which alone can raise one to the kingdom of God. Right? So we have been not discussing this particular aspect. So, like, it is very easily said that nothing should be performed for sense gratification, everything for satisfaction of Krishna. So, but we have the taste for sense gratification, but we don't have taste for service of Krishna. How can I suddenly stop my sense gratification and do everything only for Krishna? So it is very difficult. So that is why it is very important to do whatever small little devotional service we are doing. We should do it with lot of focus. And when we do it with lot of focus and with a prayerful mood that, no, Lord, please give me some taste for your devotional service. And when we do it in that way, we will definitely get taste in the process of chanting, taste in the process of hearing the glories of the Lord, taste in the process of reading the scriptures. So once we get taste, no, that's it. Like, no, we have done with it. So we have we if we get taste of something, then we will be able to progress nicely. We'll be able to progress nicely. I had an experience in this. So once, like, me and my friend, we were it is in my school days. So we were trying to study a particular subject, and it was not at all going in our head. And we started playing and things like that, because anyway the subject is not going in my head. And then somehow I got some somebody helped me out to understand the subject. After I got a little bit of understanding of the subject, then I got so much of interest in the subject. Then I started learning very nicely. So this is kind of the other person, like, he didn't got interest at all. So because somehow or other he didn't got this one of uh, fortune of getting understanding of that particular subject. So in the same way, if the crux of Krishna consciousness is to taste the bliss of Krishna consciousness. If we don't taste the bliss of Krishna consciousness, then it will look very dry, and we will again think that, array, sense gratification is good, or even if it is bad, at least something I'm feeling, some happiness I'm getting there. And here it is all mechanical and dry and things like that. Nothing is moving in my life and things like that. So all those things will happen. So it is very, very important that we have to experience taste in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, we will not be able to continue for long. Otherwise, whenever we read statements like this, nothing should be performed for sense gratification, but everything should be done for satisfaction of Krishna. We will not be able to understand this statement, how blissful a statement it is. So we'll always think, why this Krishna consciousness is having so much of rules? It is so hard. It is so denying, self-denying, and things like that. No, it is not self-denying. It is so blissful. No, sense gratification is the source of all problem and miseries and distress in this world. And Krishna consciousness is so blissful, but somehow or other we are not able to taste it. Right? So we should, one very important thing I keep on telling, that we have to somehow or other put focus on our chanting, and we have to clearly hear every single syllable that has been chanted with a prayerful mood and with attentiveness. And if we can do all our 16 rounds in one stretch, in one shot, that will give so much of bliss actually. So much, when we act, when we even get a little perfection in the process, we will feel so much satisfaction deep from within, that no like, even if somebody says like you should not do chanting, we will not agree to it. So we will never give it up. So that will be the experience that we will have. But for that, we need to have little endeavor and little struggle that we have to put in the proper direction. Then we will get it. So for sure we will get it. Okay, so this practice will not only save one from the reactions of work, but also gradually elevate one to the transcendental loving service of the Lord, which alone can raise one to the kingdom of God. Okay, text 10. Sahayagnya praja shishtva purovacha prajapadihi anena prasavishya yadvam yeshavoshta ishta kamaduk. So, in the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures sent forth generations of men and demigods. So that means the first thing that, how did the world got populated? And once the world got populated, so the next thing is how will this world function? If we see this thing happens in if we have an apartment complex, if we are living in, so the moment people occupy, then immediately they form an association, and they will decide, okay, like how will this apartment function, right? So that's a common thing. In the same way, like if once the world starts and the creation starts, and the first thing is the men and the demigods, they are populated, and along with sacrifice for Vishnu. So three things are sent forth. One is the human beings, then the demigods, and then the process of sacrifice for Vishnu. And what did the Lord do? So, and bless them by saying, so the Lord blessed them by saying, be thou happy by this yajna, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation. Right? So this is the process. So now we see that in the Vedic system, if anybody wants anything, first thing that they will do is they will do tapasya towards Lord Vishnu, and then they will go and get it. So whatever they want to get it. So they always feel that whatever I get in my life, if it is not a yajna shishta, if it is not a remnants of yajna performed to the Supreme Lord, it is going to be only a source of trouble in my life, right? So this is very, very important principle. Anything I have to get, it should be a prasad of the Lord. Then I'll be happy. If I'm getting something of this world which is not a prasad of the Lord, which is because of my like greed or my hankering towards that, having that particular thing with me, so I just got it, but I have not done it as a sacrifice to Lord Vishnu. No, that is why it is called as vivaha yajna. So vivaha yajna means like what, getting married is an yajna. So it is a authentic process of sacrifice towards the Supreme Lord Vishnu. And so like generally these days, marriage and these kind of samskaras, which is all samskaras and yajna, is looked upon in a very, very derogatory way, where marriage is considered to be like like an opportunity for sense gratification and things like that. So it is actually an yajna. So everything like conceiving a child is an yajna, and giving birth to a child is an yajna, naming a child is an yajna, and what else is there? Upanayana is an yajna. So everything is an yajna. So everything is meant for pleasing the Supreme Lord Vishnu, even till the point of eating our daily food. No, it is also an yajna. And Lord is saying, you perform yajna and live happily, no, and achieve liberation. So, no, anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. If we don't do yajna, then we will get into karma bandhana. Okay, purport. The material creation by the Lord of creatures, Vishnu, is a chance offered to the conditioned souls to come back home, back to Godhead. All living entities within the material creation are conditioned by material nature because of their forgetfulness of their relationship to Vishnu or Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Vedic principles are to help us understand this eternal relation as it is stated in Bhagavad Gita, Vedescha sarve rahameva vedyaha. The Lord says that the purpose of the Vedas is to understand Him. In the Vedic hymns, it is said, Patim Vishvashyatma Atmeshwaram. Therefore, the Lord of living entities is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu. In Srimad Bhagavatam 2.4.20, Srila Shukadev Goswami describes the Lord as Pati in so many ways. Shriya Patir, Yajna Patir, Prajapatir, Dhyam Patir, Loka Patir, Dara Patihi, Patir Gatis, Chandaka Vrishni, Satvatham, Prasidatam Me Bhagavan Satam Patihi. So the Prajapati is Lord Vishnu, and he is the Lord of all living creatures, all worlds, like living creatures, all the worlds and all beauties, and the protector of everyone. The Lord created this material world to enable the conditioned souls to learn how to perform yajna for satisfaction of Vishnu. So this is the purpose of creation. It's a nice, this one we see the Lord created this material world to enable conditioned souls to learn how to perform yajna or sacrifices for satisfaction of Vishnu. So now we see that why is a child sent to school? To learn knowledge, right? So that's the purpose for which the child is sent to school. He doesn't have knowledge, and the child is sent to school to learn knowledge. So in the same way, we as rebellious souls, no, we don't want to serve Krishna naturally. So we are sent to this material world to learn the process of yajna, and that is the purpose of our existence. If anybody says that I have too many things to do, I cannot perform yajna, no, he's seriously mistaken about his life. He's having serious misconception about his life. So our life's whole and sole purpose is to perform yajna, right? So that is the main purpose of our existence. So that while in the material world, they can live very comfortably without anxiety, and after finishing the present material body, they can enter into the kingdom of God. That is the whole program for conditioned soul. By performance of yajna, the conditioned souls gradually become Krishna conscious and become godly in all respects. In the age of Kali, the Sankirtan Yajna, the chanting of names of God, is recommended by Vedic scriptures. And this transcendental system was introduced by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Chaitanya, for the deliverance of all men in this age. Sankirtan Yajna or Krishna consciousness go well together, and Krishna consciousness go well together. Lord Krishna, in his devotional form as Lord Chaitanya, is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32 as follows, with special reference to Sankirtan Yajna. Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Yajnaihi Sankirtana Prayer Yajantihi Sumezasaha. So, all of you who have assembled here, know who are eager to learn about Krishna consciousness, know all of you have been called upon as Sumedasaha, very, very intelligent. Meda means like intelligence. Sumedasaha means like very intelligence. No? So in Kali Yuga, if somebody is taking up to the process of Sankirtan Yajna, to chant the names of the Lord, so they are called as Sumedasaha. Right? So this is mentioned in the Bhagavatam. In this age of Kali, people who are endowed with sufficient intelligence will worship the Lord, who is accompanied by his associates by performance of Sankirtan Yajna. So what is this essentially? To worship the Panchatattva. So we here we see that in Kali Yuga, people with sufficient intelligence, what they will do, they will worship the Lord, who is accompanied by his associates. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Right? So these five personalities are very, very important. And it has been mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam that one who actually worships this Supreme Lord, who is accompanied by his associates and by performance of Sankirtan Yajna. So, like, if we chant in front of the Panchatattva and if we chant the Panchatattva mantra, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda, and then Hare Krishna mantra, that is the perfection of all religious principles, that we can do in this Kali Yuga. So that is like, very nicely mentioned here in Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, other yajna prescribed in the Vedic literatures are not easy to perform in this age of Kali, but the Sankirtan yajna is easy and sublime for all purposes, as recommended in Bhagavad Gita, also in 9:14. So we will read that later. So text 11, Devan bhavayathanena te deva bhavayantu vaha parasparam bhavayantaha shreyah param avapsyatha. This very, very important principle. The demigods being pleased by sacrifice will also please you, and thus by cooperation between men and demigods, prosperity will reign for all. Is Krishna telling about demigod worship here? He's telling that no, you perform yajna for demigods and they will be pleased with you and they will give everything for you. No, that's not the way. Here we see Prabhupada also will clarify that in the purport. They are administrators of material affairs. It is like the demigods are the various departmental in charges, and we have also in our experience electricity department, water department, and so many different departments are there in the government also. And all the tax that we fill, it goes to the central treasury of the state, and from the state it goes to the department, and from the department it goes as a salary to all the important officials. But if we directly give the officials some money, that is called bribe. No, that is definitely not encouraged. And in the previous sloka it is very, very clear, yajnartat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. Yajna, we may not be knowing about this, but then in the Vedic parlance, in the Vedic vocabulary, yajna means Vishnu. It's very, very clear. No, the modern people, like, they may interpret these things in so many different ways, but we cannot help it. So in Bhagavad Gita, so many places Krishna will very, very clearly mention about this. No, Mam Ekam Sharanam Raja. So he mentions in so many places, he exclusively mentions this surrender to the Supreme Lord, or the process of yajna is meant for pleasing the Supreme Lord Vishnu or Krishna, right? So Bhoktaram Ekta Tapasham. So Vishnu very clearly claims, I am the enjoyer of all the sacrifices that are performed. So then we cannot misconstrue this thing. So then why did Krishna mentions in this way, the demigods being pleased by sacrifice will also please you? The demigods will become pleased by the sacrifice. If we perform worship to Lord Vishnu, the demigods will become pleased, no? And then they will do everything that is necessary for the living entities. And so that's the way of functioning. That's the proper way of functioning. In fact, we see that right now in our morning Bhagavatam classes, we are discussing about the Prachatas, so the 10 sons of King Prachini Barhi, and they are going to perform like tapasya to attain the Supreme Lord Vishnu. And when they are going to perform tapasya, on the way, Lord Shiva comes, and then Lord Shiva says, no, I know your purpose. You want to uh, like uh, uh, do intense devotion to the Supreme Lord Vishnu, and I am very pleased with that. No, I will tell you how to do it. So Krishna Jabardast, sorry, Lord Shiva Jabardasti, he comes and he teaches how to perform Vishnu worship. So, and in that purport, Prabhupada writes that demigods become very, very pleased if somebody worships Krishna or Vishnu. So that is the natural scenario. No, we have one exception somewhere, like, no, where the Govardhan Leela happens, where, because everybody worshipped Krishna and Indra became angry upon them and things like that. Generally, it doesn't happen. Generally, all the demigods are very, very happy, when they see somebody is progressing in Krishna consciousness, right? So in this way, we see that it's not demigod worship. We have to supply the just a minute, I'll just try to explain this process. This is a very, very important process. And we will just open. We'll just have a small drawing and we'll explain it. Okay. Somehow this one is not opening up. Okay. Anyways, so the essential aspect is our. Uh, okay, I've got it. So hope you're able to see the screen. So now uh, here we have Vishnu, and here we are, right? And then we have the demigods here. Just a minute. Demigods here. So the sacrifice has to be performed to Lord Vishnu. It's like we can say that central treasury kind of a thing. And Vishnu will take care of the devatas, and the devatas will take care of the living entities, right? So the air is controlled by a devata, the water is controlled by a devata, the rain is controlled by the devata, everything is controlled, like even our bodily movements, everything is controlled by some devata. So this is the process of work. And even in this world also, we have a little bit of experience of this. If I want to buy something, like no, I am the customer, you imagine, and like this is my office, right? And then here is my shopping complex or something, right? So I have to go to my office, earn money, and from there I can pay the shop, and then from there I can get my needs and necessities, right? So this is how even in the material world, I cannot just go in the shop and I want something, I just pick it up and walk out. They will catch me and put me behind the bars. No, I'll be technically called a thief. So trying to take things directly from this world is equivalent to being a thief. No, we should never do that. We should always pay for whatever we are taking. And whom does everything belongs to? Everything belongs to Krishna. And how do I pay? I pay by performing my yajna, right? So I know, like all of you here are chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, and most of you are chanting 16 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra here. So it's very nice actually. So anyway, so this is a very good conviction we can get in this whole thing, that no, this is what is the right thing that we are doing. Sometimes the society tries to convince us, hey, like, no, you're wasting time. Why are you just chanting Hare Krishna and doing this no bhajan and things like that and all? So just be practical, no, like, why are you being so sentimental and so, what is that, orthodox and things like that? Just be practical. And so we have to be, we are actually practical. We are, just by performing Hare Krishna mantra, chanting, and then trying to study the scriptures and trying to implement that in our life, we are actually practical. All those so-called practical people of this world are impractical. Okay. The demigods are empowered administrators of material affairs. The supply of air, light, water, and all other benedictions for maintaining the body and soul of every living entity is entrusted to the demigods, who are innumerable assistants in different parts of the body of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Their pleasure and displeasures are dependent on the performance of yajnas by human beings. Some of the yajnas are meant to satisfy particular demigods, but even in so doing, Lord Vishnu is worshipped in all the yajnas as the chief beneficiary. Vishnu is the yajna purusha. Without invoking Vishnu, no yajna can be performed. Right? So it is stated also in Bhagavad Gita that Krishna himself is the beneficiary of all kinds of yajnas. Bhoktaram yajna tapasham. Right? So that's what we were discussing. This is like 529, the last sloka of 5th chapter. No bhoktaram yajna tapasham sarvaloka maheshwaram. Suhridam sarvabhutanam nyatva mam shanti mrichati. So that is also called as the peace formula in Bhagavad Gita. Nyatva mam, by knowing the three things that this sloka mentions, nyatva mam shantim mrichati. So like one gets shanti or peace, right? Okay. Therefore, ultimate satisfaction of the Yajnapati is the chief purpose of all yajnas. When these yajnas are perfectly performed, naturally the demigods in charge of different departments of supply are pleased, and there is no scarcity in the supply of natural products. Performance of yajnas has many side benefits, ultimately leading to liberation from material bondage. By performance of yajnas, all activities become purified, as it is stated in Vedas. Ahara shuddho sattva shuddhihi, sattva shuddho dhruva smritihi, smritir स्मृतिर लंबे सर्व ग्रंथि नाम विप्रमोक्षः सर्व ग्रंथि नाम विप्रमोक्षः. So it's a very, very nice thing. If our ahara is shuddha, means if whatever we eat that is pure, so then we get a pure consciousness. Our no, you are what you eat. And if you take Vishnu Prasad, so then you will slowly get to the point of no good consciousness and good intelligence and things like that. And if you have good intelligence, so then you can good knowledge, then you can actually break the bondage and you can go towards liberation. No, so it's very nicely mentioned. It's all there in the input, what input you are giving. So somebody may say like, no, why are you wasting time going to a Gita class? So then we say like, okay, what else I can do? So Netflix is there, and there is social media is there, YouTube is there, Facebook is there. So much of nice things are there. That is all social knowledge, like social knowledge, news, and essential things like to live in this world. But actually, it is all crap. No, in the Bhagavad Gita sense, if we want to say what it is nothing but no kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, and matsarya. All six kinds of anarthas are nicely taken into the system. No, this is ahara ashuddha. So when the ahara, no, for eyes and ears, whatever we see and hear, that is the ahara. And now we are taking a shuddha ahar by the way of hearing Bhagavad Gita, and then by the way of chanting. Now again we are taking shuddha ahar. Now we are using our tongue for chanting the names of the Lord, and we are hearing the names of the Lord. So that becomes shuddha. And then when whatever we eat, no, we eat only after offering it to the Supreme Lord. So ahara shuddha. So this is way of shuddhi of the ahara. And just by doing that, if we give the right kind of input, then the right kind of output will obviously be there, right? So that is the liberation or getting back to the spiritual world. By performance of yajna, one's eatables become sanctified. And by eating sanctified foodstuffs, one's very existence becomes purified. The purification of existence, by the purification of existence, finer tissues in the memory become sanctified. And when memory is sanctified, one can think of the path of liberation. And all these combined together lead to Krishna consciousness, the great necessity of present day society. Srila Prabhupada very, very nicely puts it. Great necessity of present day society. It's not an option. It is not just, okay, like hum bhi religious hai, like kuch kar lenge. So it is not like that. It is very, very important. Okay, text 12. Ishtan bohan hi vo deva dashante yajna bhavitah tair dattan aparadhyabhyo yo bhungte stena evasa. In charge of various necessities of life, the demigods being satisfied by the performance of yajna, yajna or sacrifice will supply all necessities to you. But he who enjoys such gifts without offering them to the demigods in return is certainly a thief. So, no, like we are going to get, whenever we perform yajna, we will get some things in return. But then we have to again offer it back in sacrifice, right? So it's very important aspect. So we should not think that I have whatever I have got, it is all mine. So that is also something that is given to us, and even in that we have to use it. No, that is the whole thing. It's like if we have a capital and we are planning to do a business, and we put a capital, and we procure some raw materials, and then we do our first sales. And when the first sale happens, if all the money is used for my sense gratification, then where will I reinvest? How will my business continue? So the thing is, the sacrifice has to be performed. The demigods will give some things to the living entities, and with whatever we get, we have to use it some partly for us, and then we have to use the next part again for reinvestment. Again, we have to perform yajna. So that is when this one will go. No, this is a common sense. Any businessman, anybody who have done a common sense activity in their life, they will understand this concept that no, we cannot enjoy everything that is given to us no fully. We have to offer some things back in the service of the Lord, right? So when people say that I am intelligent, I am working hard, I am getting money, why should I no bother about worshipping any god, right? So it is that's their poor fund of knowledge. So like their intelligence is given by Krishna. The good fortune, there are so many people are intelligent but they don't have any good fortune, they still remain very poor. So no, even in spite of intelligence, like I've also got like good source of income, and I've also got whatever I got, like whether I got source of income or whether I'm blessed with something in my life, I have to use it in service of Lord, right? So that is the main thing. If I'm not blessed with anything, that's okay, fine. No, if God did not give me anything, so it's less a headache that I don't need to use that in the service of the Lord. But if I have been given something, then I have to use it in service of the Lord. So in that way, like everybody has to think in that way that we are not meant. This world is not meant for exploitation. This world is meant for sacrifice, right? And we are meant for sacrifice. Purport: the demigods are authorized supplying agents on behalf of Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu. Therefore, they must be satisfied by performance of prescribed yajnas. In the Vedas, there are different kinds of yajnas prescribed for different kinds of demigods, but all are ultimately offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For one who cannot understand what Personality of Godhead is, sacrifice for demigods is recommended. According to different material qualities of persons concerned, in different types of yajnas, different types of yajnas are recommended in the Vedas. Worship of different demigods is also on the same basis, namely according to different qualities. For example, the meat eaters are recommended to worship the goddess Kali. Yeah, we will be reading in 5 minutes. The ghastly form of material nature. And before the goddess, the sacrifice of animals is recommended. But for those who are in the mode of goodness, the transcendental worship of Vishnu is recommended. But ultimately, all yajnas are meant for gradual promotion to the transcendental position. For ordinary men, at least five yajnas known as Panchamaha yajna are necessary. One should know, however, that all the necessities of life that the human society requires are supplied by demigod agents of the Lord. No one can manufacture anything. Take, for example, all eatables of human society. These eatables include grains, fruits, vegetables, milk, sugar, etc., for the persons in the mode of goodness, and also eatables for the non-vegetarians like like meats, none of which can be manufactured by men. Then again, take for example heat, light, water, air, etc., which are also necessities of life. None of them can be manufactured by human society. Without the Supreme Lord, there can be no profuse sunlight, moonlight, rainfall, breeze, etc., without which no one can live. Obviously, our life is dependent on the supplies from the Lord. Even for our manufacturing enterprise, we require so many raw materials like metal, sulfur, mercury, manganese, and so many essentials, all of which are supplied by the agents of the Lord, which with the purpose that we should make proper use of them to keep ourselves fit and healthy for the purpose of self-realization, leading to the ultimate goal of life, namely liberation from material struggle for existence. This aim of life is attained by performance of yajnas. If we forget the purpose of human life and simply take supplies from the agents of the Lord for sense gratification and become more and more entangled in the material existence, which is not the purpose of creation, certainly we become thieves and therefore we are punished by the laws of material nature. So people often ask, like, why there is so much of trouble in my life? All that we have done is thievery, and we will get punishment. So miseries must be there. Dukale mashashvatam. What else we can expect here? Right? A society of thieves can never be happy because they have no aim in life. The gross materialist thieves have no ultimate goal of life. They are simply directed to sense gratification, nor do they have knowledge of how to perform yajnas. Lord Chaitanya, however, inaugurated the easiest performance of yajna, namely Sankirtan yajna, which can be performed by anyone in the world who accepts the principles of Krishna consciousness. Right? Okay. So with this, we stop here, and then there are few questions. Karma Kanda and Karma Yoga, as understood in Kali Yuga, is the same. Sometimes these doesn't have so explicit exact definitions. But there are a clear set of people like that. So the terminology that I use is karma kanda, means a person who is attached to performing rituals alone and not for pleasing the Lord, and he is doing it for the goal is like his sense gratification. No such kind of a thing is karma kanda. And then karma yoga means, like, wherever this word yoga comes, like it is immediately some portion, like I work based on prescribed duties, and out of the results I offer some yajna to the Lord. So that is, I still do things for my sake according to my choice, but I still, with the results of it, I worship the Lord also. No, so then it is called karma yoga, right? So the yoga means immediately there is a principle of Krishna is there. But then some people have karma kanda and karma yoga as same definition. I just to clearly demarcate these two class of people, I just use these two terminologies. But then sometimes the definition can be overlapping also. So, but anyways, the kind of people or what we are trying to define, that is very important. The terminologies may be sometimes, they may be interchangeably used also. Okay, Sloka 5, modes we are born with, we should not try to change. This is for material life. No, modes we are born with, definitely we should try to change. What we should not try to change is that the work, currently I am there in a particular kind of a mode. Currently, imagine that I am in the mode of passion. Never we are in any pure modes, like we are always in a combination of modes. So right now, just imagine that I am in mode of passion. Or we can take example of Arjuna only. Arjuna is in mode of passion. He is a Kshatriya. And such a person, his prescribed duty is to function like a Kshatriya. He should not try to change his profession. No, if his modes change by proper discharge of Kshatriya duties, over a period of time, he becomes purified and he shows the symptoms of a Brahmana. No, his natural qualities have changed. Then he should change his profession. Till the time his modes doesn't change, he should not change the quality of work that he is doing. So the work should be according to the modes. No, work should not be against the modes. So then a person will never be satisfied, right? So if you ask a Brahmana to do a Kshatriya work, he will not be satisfied. If you ask a Kshatriya to go and sit and do meditation, he will not be satisfied. So it is no, everybody has their vritti, and we should not change it. And then uh, so how do people born with passion and ignorance come out? By just performing their prescribed duties, they can come out. And anyways, we have in the Vedic system, by performing their prescribed duties. Like for example, a person born of ignorance, he is asked to work for the other three classes of people. So by working for Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishya, so he will progress in his spiritual life. And a person in the mixed mode of passion and ignorance, he is a Vaishya. So Vaishya is the productive class, and they are expected to give charity to the sadhus. And when they give charity to the sadhus, so that is a part of their prescribed duties. So when they give charity to the sadhus, then they become advanced in their consciousness, and they elevate in their consciousness. So the Varnashram system is so nicely built that everybody progresses. No, so that's a nice question. And then Bhakti Yoga or Krishna consciousness helps us to change our modes. So the various forms of worship we see around demigods, karma kanda, that help any individual change their acquired modes and move to mode of goodness or not? Yeah, so these change of modes is still material. So moving from mode of ignorance to mode of goodness is material. And by performing Bhakti Yoga, we get that as a side benefit. No, that's not our main benefit. Our main benefit is we develop attachment to the Supreme Lord and we get eligible to go to Vaikunta. So that is not possible even if we go to the mode of goodness. So the demigod worship, because the demigods are in mode of goodness, and primarily majority of the demigods. So by worship of the demigods, one can gradually move towards mode of goodness. Very, very gradually. It's very, very slow. But then Krishna consciousness, because it is aiming at this one, for us, we gradually try to attain the Supreme Lord's lotus feet. But mode of goodness comes very fast in Krishna consciousness, because mode of goodness is not the main benefit. It is just a side benefit, right? So in that way, like, we get to the mode of goodness. Okay, so now we will read one very amazing pastime of Srila Prabhupada, right? So 205, in a book which I have, mm, this is a recollection of many devotees about Srila Prabhupada, and this is a recollection by one of the Vrajavasis who was staying in Vrindavan and who used to see Srila Prabhupada when long back, before he went to the West and started ISKCON. So that is the pastime that we are going to read. So this is narrated by Sripad Hridayananda Babaji Maharaj. Sripad Hridayananda Babaji Maharaj was born in Radhakund and has been a pujari for 78 years. He lives next to Radha Damodar temple. So Radha Damodar temple is a place where Srila Prabhupada had a small room and he used to live there. Right? So here we see that before going to West, after he took sannyas, he used to live there. So let's read this pastime. At the beginning of the interview, upon being asked if he knew Srila Prabhupada, Babaji Maharaj began to cry. Never have I seen anyone do sadhana like he did. I have lived all my life in Braja or Vrindavan, and I have never seen anyone like him. Prabhupada did many arduous things. He worked very hard there at Radha Damodar temple. At that time, it was austere and undeveloped and very muddy and dirty, with no facilities. Weeping, Babaji Maharaj quoted a sloka from Chaitanya Charitamrita from Sanatan Goswami about the importance of sadhana. Then quoting Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Rai. So Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Rai were associates of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So quoting Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Rai, he said, without sadhana, no one can never attain Krishna Prema. Also Prativiti Ache Yata Naharadi Grama. Many years later, when I heard that it was actually he who had been chosen by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to spread the Hare Krishna mantra around the world, I was not surprised. No, he was, because his impression of seeing Srila Prabhupada was so profound that he was seeing that he's a very, very solid and very amazing spiritual person. So that's why he didn't got surprised when he got to know that Srila Prabhupada is the one who went to all over the world and spread this Krishna consciousness, right? So Prabhupada spread this Krishna consciousness by the mercy of Rupa Goswami. Prabhupada used to pray to Rupa Goswami. So Rupa Goswami is one of the direct associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and his Samadhi Mandir is there in the this Radha Damodar temple where Srila Prabhupada used to live in Vrindavan. So here this Babaji Maharaj is telling that Prabhupada was able to preach this message of Krishna consciousness all around the world because he had the mercy of Rupa Goswami. And he's qualifying that, how he is telling that. And he got that mercy. I know this because I saw some things he did at Radha Damodar temple. My room is still located in the same place as it was then in 1964 or 65. Many times in the middle of the night, at midnight, or 1 or 2 in the morning, I would hear a voice crying from inside the courtyard of Rupa Goswami's Samadhi Mandir. That voice was calling out and crying, but I did not know what it was because I was trying to take rest. But one night on the full moon, I heard the voice again. So I climbed up to the roof of the house and looked down into the Radha Damodar courtyard. I saw something very amazing. Srila Prabhupada was sweeping the courtyard of Rupa Goswami's Samadhi, and he was bending down with a small broom. And as he swept the ground by the Samadhi, he was crying out. So he was telling, Hey Rupa, Hey Sanatan, Hey Gurudev. Please give me your mercy. Without your mercy, I cannot do anything. Um, Give me the mercy, give me the strength that I may fulfill your orders. So then I realized that it was he who almost every night was calling out as he was sweeping like this. Living next door to him, I would often visit as he sat on the veranda in the mornings and evenings. He was a very attractive personality, and many Vaishnavas were eager for his association. When he gave pravachan from the books of the Goswamis or Srila Bhaktivinoda or his Gurudev, many scholars and elevated saints would come to hear. I noticed that people were frequently coming for his sangha and for his counsel also. He was kind to everyone and was very popular. Sometimes, if too many people had visited and he wanted his private time to chant or write in his room, then he would ask me to sit there in his place on the veranda and tell anyone inquiring that he was not available now. Because I felt great affection for him, I asked if I might do any service for him. Sometimes he let me sweep the room and sweep the room, the veranda, remove trash, wash clothes, and other small things. One day I clearly remember I was cleaning his room and I saw some cobweb hanging from the ceiling. With the broom, I swept them down. Then I saw the spiders crawling on the floor. I was just noticing this when Srila Prabhupada came inside. Immediately he looked to the floor and saw the spiders. He then looked up to the ceiling. Why have you disturbed? He asked. I apologized, feeling ashamed, saying that I had made a mistake, but that the spiders were not killed and would be all right. Then he told me that we should never cause disturbance to the residents like this of the holy Dham. So you see, like, Prabhupada's appreciation for even the spiders, who were residing in Vrindavan, right? So, and he said that we ourselves are actually newcomers and that they have been residing here for countless generations and must be respected. So, you can see this is the vision of a sadhu. A sadhu, he's like, he gives respect to every single living entity who is there in the holy dham. So we see that here, it's man coming out. When he gave me this instruction, he was very grave. Since that day, I have not disturbed any spiders or any other creatures anywhere in Sri Vrindavan. We often went together to the Yamuna for Sankirtan in the late afternoons. He would bring kartals for chanting. I played the mridanga. Many local devotees became accustomed to his beautiful parikrama and joined him there on the bank of the river. He engaged all in singing the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and Panchatattva mantra and dancing very joyfully. To fulfill Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prophecy, what is this prophecy? Prithiviti achayata naharadigram sarvatra prachara hoibe moranam. So that means Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told that in the whole world, wherever there is towns and villages, everywhere, my name, will be preached about. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also mentioned that my Senapati Bhakta, my strong devotee, he will come to do this work. So, and we see that, like, before Prabhupada went to the West, everybody thought, oh, this is all, like, nobody could do it. And, it's something like, it's mentioned in the scriptures, but may not be practical. But then Srila Prabhupada actually did that. So to fulfill Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prophecy, Srila Prabhupada came here to Vrindavan first. The Lord has utilized such an empowered person to spread his mission. Anything like this has to be done with a very heavy, strong sadhana. Krishna rewarded him because he had so much nishtha and shraddha. I have never seen such sadhana and feeling as his. If you want to take anything that if you want to take anything, the hand has to go and pick it up. So like that, you have to steal premadan. No, that is the wealth of steal the wealth. One can take it. So that means if you want to access Krishna prem, we have to endeavor for it. And Prabhupada is here right now, but we have to find him out because Krishna has hidden him as if behind a curtain. His Leela is still going on. he is still chanting at the Radha Damodar temple and sweeping the courtyard, doing these wonderful pastimes. So this is the words of Rajavasi. So he could able to see this thing, even to this day. Like this, like tying a camphor in a cloth. After the camphor is gone, the smell in the cloth still remains. So Srila Prabhupada is certainly there. We have to endeavor to see Prabhupada. He has not gone anywhere. And if we feel the separation, then we can be with him. With strong endeavor, utkanta, everything will be revealed. Like a chaste wife with chastity, uh, all these things will come. Like parents who have so much affection and put their hand on their child's head. Similarly, if we go to Srila Prabhupada, he will embrace us with so much feeling like the Lord does. Right? So this is one pastime. I just wanted to read it for all of you. So, this day is a very, very important day for all of us. So we are every day studying Srila Prabhupada's books, and by his mercy, we are able to understand the truth of life, and we are able to restructure our life, and we are able to live a very nice life, very pious life, right? So our destination is going to be very, very glorious, by doing this. And it is all because of Srila Prabhupada's hard work, right? And he is a very, very empowered Acharya, who is sent by the Supreme Lord himself. And just to fulfill the prophecy of the Supreme Lord, he has been sent. Such an amazing person. And we are getting an opportunity to worship him, and we are able to get the opportunity to read from his books, right? So we are ever grateful to Srila Prabhupada. So with this, we will conclude today's session. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Hare Krishna.